gals!
Hi, ladies.
How is everyone doing today? How was everyone's day?
This is so great.
It's
been so long.
I'm Tet.
I'm Thaisa.
Christina.
Yulia.
And this is Girlhood.
Woohoo!
Okay. So ladies, welcome back to Girlhood. Or gals or guys or whatever you associate and name yourself. This is Girlhood, and as mentioned, we are going to be talking about friendships today. And the first thing I personally wanted to bring up was toxic friendships. Wow. I think that's a hard hitter right into it.
Right into it.
First things first, I want to know if you guys have experienced any toxic friendships. I know I have in the past with many people.
Most of my high school friendships.
Which is why we're here to help you out.
So you don't make the same mistakes we did.
Literally. But yeah, I guess let's maybe let the viewers know a little bit about some of the friendships that we've experienced that were toxic, how we navigated through them, and give
And what qualities are toxic. Signs to look out for.
You know what I noticed is all of them started off so well.
They were like your best friend. Like you were so close.
Was it
with
like a
them.
honeymoon
Yeah.
period?
And then I don't know, throughout the years it just felt like there was a constant competition with us, and it's I don't think that there ever should be. I think we should just be building each other up and helping each other grow, whereas and in my experience, it was always related to men and guys. A lot of them had
your friendships with men or your friendships with girls were affected?
No. So my friendships with girls, they were always competitive with guy attention. Let's say I liked a guy. Normally, a girl would be like, "Yeah, girl, go get him." She wouldn't compete.
Not normally, a good friend.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then it wouldn't be a competition to get him as well. It was kind of just, normally you would bow out. It's
yeah, you call dibs. Yeah. Respect the dibs.
No, but you want that. Also, you want that boost from your friend being like,
yeah,
girl, you
want the support.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that was my experience throughout most of elementary and high school, and thankfully not after that. But and it was hard to finally kind of be like, listen, this just isn't worth it. It's not helping me. It's actually damaging me mentally. And it was hard to because it started off so well and we were so close, and I was like, oh my god, she's gonna be my maid of honor and whatever, this honeymoon. It may suck in the moment when you finally decide
This person isn't.
It should not be in my life, but I promise after a few months, even weeks, you'll feel that much better.
What are some tips that you guys would have to kind of notice those?
Yeah, what are other signs?
Because obviously, like we said, toxic friendships usually start off amazingly, and then over time it just kind of gets worse and worse and worse until the point where you're is this person worth it or not?
I just think that if you're leaving a hangout with one of your best friends and you're
you feel shitty.
Yeah, if you're feeling super low about yourself, instead of being yeah, that was the best time of my life, we were just laughing the entire time, and you're you feel kind of self-conscious about yourself or whatever. I think that's a huge indicator.
Ooh, you know what I would notice a lot? I don't know if you guys experience this. It's when you notice one-on-one you're with someone and they act a certain way, and then in a group or around other people they switch up on you, and you're kind of wait a second, what is this energy you're coming at me with? And you're like, dude, what's going on? Why are you treating me this way all of a sudden? And I think a lot of people are guilty of that, just because as you're growing up, you're in different social groups, and honestly, just naturally, I feel you're kind of a different person with different people. Obviously, you're different with your parents than you would be with your friends and whatever.
But if it's an extreme, if it's
almost they make you feel shitty in a group setting,
exactly, it's they're putting you down.
Yeah,
I noticed that with my own toxic friendship situations, one thing that it's they, like you said, they wanted to one-up me, but then it wasn't even that. It was they want to make me look lesser than. They want to make me seem something's wrong with me, or oh, like why is she even here? But then one-on-one, oh my god, bestie, like what? Like why are you switching up on me like that? Why are you like talking shit in front of other people about me when I'm present?
I feel like kind of going off of that point a little bit, like a big sign of like somebody who's potentially a toxic friend is like the two like biggest foundations of any friendship is trust and loyalty. And if this person has like given you example or has given you like giving you an example of that like you can't trust them or that they're not like loyal to you, if you feel like they're kind of friend hopping, because that's honestly like I feel like something that I've had to deal with. That's like oh, like we were so close and now but I was just like your friend for a while until you found something better. So that's kind of where like that loyalty. And I feel like if you don't have that, then that's somebody who is just like not gonna stick it out with you, or like somebody
In the long run.
yeah, just like I feel like out of those two, I feel like trust is the biggest thing. If you go home and you feel like you just can't like be honest with that person, then I feel like that's not any relationship that you should be in.
Yeah.
100%.
You have a certain dynamic with someone. You do certain things with them, and like I don't know, even like you just get along in a certain way. But then like as you kind of, I think we're getting more into the last topic.
Yeah.
But like as you kind of evolve, you might like grow out of certain friendships, and you might just be like, you know what? At one point, I was cool with like being this person and doing this with you, but like now I'm just kind of like. I want to be doing this over here, and we're still doing this, and that's fine though. Like it's fine to communicate that, express that, and like it's not necessarily that they're being toxic because they didn't switch up or whatever. But it's just like you've noticed, you know what? That's not the person I want to be.
You are who you surround yourself with, because if you start noticing you're around a group of people or one person that's taking you down a path that you're like, whoa, like I know in my like ethical morality, whatever, my heart of hearts, I shouldn't be doing this, and you get that like gut feeling, to me that's a clear sign that you should remove yourself from like either the friendship or the situation, depending on whatever.
I to speak on that, because like this is something I have gone through like very recently with like my friends at my workplace. Like everybody gossips so much. It's unfortunately kind of part of the territory. And it's just, I've recently kind of realized like I'm really uncomfortable with this, because there have been so many times where I was insecure that I was being the one that people were gossiping about. And so I've tried to like remove myself, but I think what makes you the non-toxic friend is respectfully having that conversation with someone, with your friend who is partaking in that, and not like, not that this is what you were saying, but not like kind of necessarily right away go and distance yourself. But I think like where you need to not be toxic is like, like have that conversation, tell them that about the way that you're feeling, and then based off of that reaction, that's kind of how you can tell kind of what's like who this person really is and whether you should be friends with them.
I can definitely relate to this topic just because back in high school, like one of my ex-best friends, like we were both kind of like a straight and narrow student when we first started off, and then kind of as high school we got older and like the more temptation kind of came, and it's like, oh well, we could skip class and we could hang out with like with boys and do drugs and this and that. And it's like when I saw that I was like skipping class and kind of going into that path, I was like, I don't want to associate that way, because it is like the more you surround yourself with that, the more likely you are to follow that path with them
and become that. And then if that's something that is like wrong,
it's like, oh, I never envisioned this for myself, why am I doing this? And it's because your besties are doing it, so you want to be with them, but you don't want to be doing what they're doing.
Exactly. So like a good tip in that situation is to like really evaluate, like, it might be hard because these are your friends, but to really evaluate, is this something I want to be doing? Is this like something that's going to benefit me, or is it going to, make things worse for me in the future? And I don't know, if you're getting, oh yeah, no, like I'll be fine. Okay, do your thing. But if like in your gut, you're like, this is wrong, like
like stay true to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stay true to yourself and understand, like, you know, it's okay to not, you know, be friends with those people. You'll make more friends. You will. I promise. You know.
And I feel like there's also something to say about sometimes how difficult it can be to make friends and how difficult it can be to find people who like you truly trust and feel comfortable with. And like just to very like lightly speak on that like I feel like everybody struggles to make friends. Some people might struggle a little bit more, but I'm confident that like you are not like one unlikable personality that can't make friends. Like you will find 100%. Your people. You just haven't found them yet, and that's totally okay.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah, that's so true. And sometimes it's like a matter of, I don't know, different people bring out different things in you. So just 100%. By like interacting with other people, you'll bring out different sides of yourself and be like, oh, like I didn't know like I was this type of person, and oh, they like me for these qualities. Where these people like kind of, I don't know, didn't appreciate that or couldn't relate to that as much. So it's good to kind of like cast like a wider net and like be friends with a bunch of different people, and you'll kind of settle into where you're comfortable and where you naturally like want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Because it's like sometimes it's hard when it's like, oh, I only hang out with these people, and like, oh, maybe it doesn't always feel that good. But like once you start branching out a little, you'll be like, oh, I feel safer to kind of like move in this direction, and maybe that's not working for me, you know. And maybe it's not like a case of like them being toxic. It's just like, oh, we're just not compatible in that way. Like I just fit in here way better or whatever.
100%.
I think it's important to have the mentality of not like, oh, I really want them to like me, whereas like, oh, I love these qualities about them, and like just by nature of being around them, like you'll kind of, you know, you'll get that from them. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
It's funny because it's kind of like whenever even like friendships are so similar to romantic relationships, just like it's like I feel like we worry so much about impressing those people, but it's like no, like am I impressed by them? Do I, you know, do I like their qualities?
Do I value, respect you?
Like be picky with your friends.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
What are some like expectations you have like when making friends or when analyzing your current friendships and friend groups? Do you guys have any like expectations?
I think there's different types of friendships too. Like there are some people that like we don't have to be besties, but I like having you in my life and I like catching up with you once in a while.
100%.
Like there's different expectations there. Like I don't need you to be there for me all the time. And, you know.
Because I think for me, like something that like I would value is just like, I don't know, just like I think like respect is the top one for me.
Something that I look for in a relationship or a friendship is effort from both sides.
Yeah.
Like if I feel like I'm putting in all this energy into our friendship and it's not being reciprocated, it's like
there's only so much you can give.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's important to know when to like let those friendships go and to stop investing so much into it and just be like, you know what, like now this is draining me, now I have to let you go.
You say effort, but it's like, okay, like
what does that look like?
Like do you want me to text you good morning? Like you know.
I didn't get a good morning text.
No, because me personally, I think I've always been more like passive in friendships. Like I've never been someone who like texts a friend every day, like ever in my life, or like even like that often really. Like I'm very much a person of like, oh, like we'll catch up when we catch up. I don't really care about texting, but like when we're there, like I'm giving you my full attention. I care about what's going on in your life and like everything like that. So I think there's that, which is more passive, and then I think there's like the active, which is like more intentional. And to me, what that means, and I think I have very few of these, is like I'm checking in on you and I'm going like, are we good? Like, is there anything you want from me I'm checking in with myself and being like, oh, is there a type of way I'm feeling about this person or in this friendship? And it's on me to kind of figure that out and communicate that to you. And I'm assuming you're doing the same and like that kind of things. I feel like that's more active. And I think a good friendship looks different for different people. Like not everybody needs the 100%. Same types of things to be fulfilled in their friendships. Because there's some people who are like, oh, I just like have a lot of good friends that I can like, oh, if you're not there for me today, that's okay. You're probably doing your own thing. I can go talk to this person.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, they have like 2 close friends and they're like when I need you, I need you or whatever.
Like kind of back to toxic traits in a friendship that like personally triggered me a little bit. Is like when you are with someone who you have to guess when they're upset with you versus them like being straight up out of respect for you, I'm going to like, listen, this made me upset, like let's talk about it, let's work on this, right?
Communication.
And communication is like such
Key.
You can't read minds.
Exactly.
Because it's like, do I assume this is an us thing or like something's going on with you separately?
That's actually kind of like, remember what happened to like me with this one person. I was ghosted, and it actually took these lovely ladies to kind of let me know what was up, because the person like involved just completely like shut me out and didn't give me an explanation, didn't ask, didn't let me know. And for me, like, I was so like, it was like I was blindsided, right? And like I was like, oh, this is a great feeling, you know.
And what's crazy is like
I don't know.
most of the times it's so easily
Resolved,
like
right?
it's so like most people are super understanding if you really come like heart to heart, like it's not gonna end badly.
But maybe she got to the point, and some people do, where it's like, even if I get a good response, this is just not worth it for me.
But that's okay. But that's
Let me know
that
that's a lot more understanding than just like not saying anything. Like if she's like, hey, listen, like how I ended my friendships was I let them know. I'm like, listen, we're just going to do two different
because
ways.
even though for you maybe it's not a like a thing, but like for this person it could be. Like you can't
Exactly.
No, absolutely.
I was so upset. I started questioning myself. I started thinking I was a terrible friend, terrible person, and all these thoughts just because this person literally shut me out with no explanation. And I'm like, I literally, like, if I had gotten like, hey, you're a bad friend, I don't want to be friends with you. Okay, bet. Like, bet. Okay? If she sat me down and said these words to me, for me, it was like, okay, so like, am I a shit person? Am I, like, it was just, my mental health was just like down, 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 down. And the thing for me, like, I noticed in that situation, like, I got very, like, I got very angry very quickly when, like, it would be brought up, because I was, like, it just seemed like everyone knew more than me.
Yeah.
And that was really frustrating. It's been years now. I'm fine. Genuinely, I'm fine. But I still do get, like, annoyed over the situation just because it was handled poorly.
Have you ever felt like you guys were ever bad friends to someone? Or you?
Probably, yeah.
I think so.
100%.
I think so, too.
Because you know what? We're all human. No one can be 100% perfect all the time. We all have we all have different things going on in our lives. And even though it might have nothing to do with my friends, I might be taking it out on them. I might, because you guys are so comfortable, it's like, it's the worst person to do it to, but it's like,
it just happens. You know?
And to make a point on that, I just want to add, let's say if you were being a bitch to me because like you were going through something. If I want to be a good friend in this situation, I would practice something called like compassionate curiosity, which I learned about in therapy. If your friend's energy changes, like I feel like that's something I struggle with now. If I have a friend and their energy switches up, I always think like, oh my god, it's me. Like I did something wrong, right? Because of like toxic friendships in the past. But it's just giving them and yourself that grace and thinking about, okay, like, well, what's going on with them? Like, what's been going on with them that maybe they
might have affected.
Yeah,
this
that
change.
might be going on that
But it's not necessarily like a reflection of you.
Yeah, exactly. Which I feel like it's so easy to take everything so personally. But yeah, just sometimes it's just being like that's your role, being a good friend to that person, even though you might be upset. Just like
asking, like, hey, like, I've noticed a change. Maybe like you were like, oh, like, I don't know, off with me and whatever. At that point, for me personally, I think I would question that and be like, hey, like, are you okay? Are we good? For all I know, you know, there is a problem, but for all I know, you're being affected by, you know, work or life or money. Like, I don't know, right? So
see, I say that now through like all my experiences, but back in high school, it's such a different atmosphere.
That's so true.
And I would take it personally, and I would my walls would just go right up.
What
and
would you take personally? If someone was acting a certain way? Or if
yeah,
someone was,
like if I felt like it was like towards me, even though it might not be. Like now I know that. It's like, oh, it fully cannot be me. Maybe she's having like home trouble, whatever. But I would take it personally. My walls would go up, and I'd be like, you know what?
Bye.
I'm backing out. Instead of just being like, hey, like what's going on?
Funny.
I want to keep this friendship.
I
Like,
had like the opposite, where I'd be like, well, there's no way it has anything to do with me. Clearly this person's going through something. And I think sometimes it was me. And I look back and I'm
but
like,
it's just like, I think that's a huge topic as well, is like high school friendships with like adult friendships. Like
They're very different.
very different and like,
What's something that you would tell your high school self about friendships now and how to navigate
so
them?
much.
not everything's about you.
Yeah.
In the best way possible.
No.
Like,
I feel like I still am working through this. I need to tell myself, like, literally not everything's about you, and like nobody is thinking about you. Nobody cares about you in the nicest way.
No,
but
it's
just, like,
true though.
like everyone's dealing with their own
Yeah,
stuff, and
like,
like
just
rarely is
Take a breather.
Yeah.
Nobody's analyzing your every move.
I think something like I would tell myself is like it's okay to like not, I don't know, be popular or not fit in or whatever.
Yes. So, because this is the tip I wanted to give, and it's literally just like exactly what you were saying, but I just wanted to add, based off of what you were saying, that like when I was in high school, I felt like the group, because everyone was so like cliquey, right?
Yeah.
There was like this group and this, the smart kids, the video game people, the art kids, the whatever.
Dance
Yeah,
girls.
Yeah,
everything.
the dance were just like
Drama.
right? There was like so many of these different cliques, and I was like in the group with like the smart kids who would like study for
Not
tests.
Sorry.
Who would like study for tests during lunch, and I felt that like, oh my god, this is the way everyone sees me now. Like this is like I'm only defined by like
Your
whatever.
clique.
Yeah, my clique, and it's just like and sorry, and it's like that doesn't define who you are. Like just
Not at
because,
all.
yes, we say that your friends define you. Like who you're friends with says a lot about who you are for sure. But who also the group of people, like especially when you're in high school, who you surround yourself with, that isn't who you are. You are not just defined as like the art
nerd.
kid or the nerd
Yeah.
or whatever. Like you have so many dimensions to your personality, and like
Yeah.
you shouldn't just feel like you shouldn't put yourself in that box, even
Yeah.
though other people see you, and like let other people see who you really are.
High school is such a small bubble
Yeah.
compared to the world.
Yeah.
And it feels so big at the time, and it's like, oh my god, I have to be friends with these people. Like,
Yeah.
if you're having trouble finding your clique or your friendship or your friend group,
Just your people, yeah.
just like I know
Wait
high
4
school.
years,
Yeah, like I
girl.
know high school feels so
Yeah.
big and like so daunting. Like, but once you leave, like the world is really like it's
massive,
huge,
yeah.
and like it feels so big because it's this small little bubble that you're in every single day. But then after that, it's like
There's so many, there's
Screw
7
these
billion people on the
Yeah.
planet. Like, trust me, you'll make friends.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's
You
why
know?
you don't focus on what everybody else is interested in. Find the thing you're genuinely interested in, and then once you start pursuing that outside of high school,
The
that's where
right-
your people are.
And
Like,
the right
that's
people,
where-
and for all you know, like look at us. Like we've known each other since elementary, and we haven't always been super tight. You know what I mean? Even though like 3 of us went to the same high school, we weren't always super tight then either. It like out of high school, years later, years,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's when I think like all of our friendships like really have like formed and like blossomed into something like better and bigger than anything that would mattered in. Okay, I don't talk to anyone from high school.
Same.
me too. That's what I'm saying. It's such a
Literally, maybe
it's
like
wild.
a few handful if I see them. But
No,
like,
you'll say hi.
Hey, you
Of
had that dream
course.
about that girl last night.
yeah, I did have that dream about that girl from high school.
Okay, you'll tell me after.
No, I don't remember. I just remember seeing her.
Friendships are relationships that need to be nurtured, but if it's water the plant, but if it's not the like friendship for you, just like don't, and you have to like break up with a friend, it is a relationship, and that shouldn't be like the importance of ending a friendship and how much that can hurt shouldn't be diminished. And it's very difficult. It's just as difficult as ending a relationship. And
because it is a relationship, right?
Exactly. Yeah, like just like ending a romantic relationship, it takes a lot of time and consideration, and just be compassionate with yourself and give yourself grace, and yeah, just do what's best for you.
I think so too. Understand your feelings.
Yeah.
You know.
And with that said, I'm Tet.
I'm Thaisa.
Christina.
I'm Yulia.
And this was Girlhood!